Hey everybody, this is your GM, your back row Dominus, your GM Kale, who currently is not on the team right now, but don't you worry about it. Here to bring you episode 4 of the Stack and Shed series, but this time we're talking about the Saints, alright? Now for all of you who don't know, we're covering all 32 teams, so nobody is going to be neglected, okay? Now we're going to cover a few different areas, and those areas are what went wrong, what do they need, stack or shed, their draft picks, one move I would do, and their cap space. So for all my Saints fans, buckle up. It's going to be a little bit controversial, but just follow with me. Let's get into it. All right, let's get into it. So what went wrong in the Saints season? And I will venture to say it was an inconsistent offense. Now, coming into the season, we all knew that the Saints had undergone a lot of change. For starters, they just hired Kellen Moore, Derek Carr just retired, and they were starting to give Spencer Rattler an opportunity. So I don't think nobody had a high expectation for this offense. However, we have to highlight that this offense doesn't have a lot to work with. Sure, you have Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, but those are only two people. Did anybody expect Tyler Shuck to come in and light it up as a rookie? Did anybody expect Spencer Rattler to light it up? No. Now, according to Sumer Sports, Spencer Rattler started in 8 games and played in 9 games, and his stat line was 257 attempts for 174 completions, 1,586 passing yards, 8 touchdowns, 5 interceptions, 6.2 yards per attempt, and a 67.7 completion percentage. Tyler Shuck started in 9 games and played in 11 games. His stat line was 327 attempts for 221 completions, 2,384 passing yards, 10 touchdowns, 6 interceptions, 7.3 yards per attempt, and a 67.6 completion percentage. Now, when we look at their offensive rankings, they had the 23rd ranked offense, and they averaged 18 points per game, 313.6 yards per game, 5 yards per play, and 28 touchdowns. They were 13th in passing offense, and they averaged 219.3 passing yards per game, 5.8 passing yards per game, and 19 passing touchdowns. They were 13th in rushing offense, and they averaged 94.3 rushing yards per game, 3.7 rushing yards per play, and 9 rushing touchdowns. Now, what do the Saints need? And that is more offensive production. And the two ways that you can go about that is by figuring out who's going to be your franchise quarterback and bring in offensive weapons. By making these investments, you're increasing the floor and ceiling of this offense while assessing both Tyler Shuck and Spencer Rattler. Because my belief is this: the only way that you can truly assess your quarterback room is by investing into your quarterback room. And the way that you make that investment is by surrounding them with weapons. And when you do this, you're also minimizing the margin of error these quarterbacks have. So now they can't say, oh, I wasn't put in the right situation to be successful. Oh, I wasn't given enough weapons in order to truly showcase my skills. Because why? The organization made every single effort to make all the investments they need to make into you in order to see if you are the franchise guy. Now, with that being said, the question we all need to ask ourselves is stack or shed? And I will eventually say stack. And the reason why I say that is because this team has some pieces. All they have to do is just continue to build off of it. Now, I'm not saying this team is going to take a significant leap like how the Commanders did where they went to the NFC Championship. But what I am saying is this: they have some building blocks. All the Saints have to do is just continue to build off of it and continue to make the right decisions. And please, for the love of God, clean your books. Why is it that every single year this team continues to nickel and dime, penny and pinch every single contract just to be in cap compliance? If you're having to do that every single year and you're not a contender, something's wrong. Whoever's giving out these contracts needs to be fired immediately, because there's no way under the sun that you're continuing to be over the cap every single year. And when we look at their draft picks, they have their first, their second, their third, 2 fourth-round picks, 2 fifth-round picks, and a 6th-round pick, which isn't bad, right? But just hear me out for a moment, Saints fans. Would you be open to the idea of trading down just a little bit? Now, I'm not saying you go from the 8th pick to the 22nd pick, but maybe if you trade down to maybe the 12th or the 15th or maybe the 16th pick of the draft, you're still in a really good spot. Because let's be honest here, the upper part of the draft is inflated. In previous draft classes, the top part of the draft is usually where the creme de la creme players are at, right? Not in this draft class. I truly believe that the middle part of the draft is where a lot of the good players to maybe great players are going to be drafted. We all know that Fernando Mendoza is going to be drafted by the Raiders. That's a given, right? But what's going to happen afterwards? Because I guarantee you the player that you really want would still be available if you traded down just a little bit. Because what we're seeing in this draft class is that positions that teams usually don't value very high are going to have to be valued high. Case in point, safety, for instance, right? Caleb Downs is regarded as the best safety in this draft class. Do you really think someone like the Jets is going to take him with the second overall pick in this draft? Especially when you realize that safety has one of the highest miss rates out of all the positions you can draft in the first round. Now, the only safety that I can remember that was drafted very high was Sean Taylor. Outside of him, Ed Reed wasn't drafted high. Troy Polamalu wasn't drafted high. All the great safeties were not drafted that high. So if I'm the Saints, I'm trading down just a little bit so I can acquire extra draft capital that I can use in either this draft class, the 27 draft class, or trade for a player. Now, the one move that I would do if I was the Saints GM is draft an offensive player. And the reason why I say that is because outside of Chris Olave and Alvin Kamara, what else do you have? Now, let's be honest here. In this draft class, you have a lot of options at both receiver and tight end. If you want to get a power slot this year, you can go ahead and get it. If you want to get you an X, you can go ahead and get it. If you want to get you a Z, you can go ahead and get it. If you want to get you a 6'4 receiver that is able to catch those 50-50 contested balls, you can go ahead and do it. Or you can pivot and you can get you a really productive tight end, because remember, a young quarterback's best friend is a really productive tight end. And honestly speaking, the only tight end that you really have that's been really productive is Taysom Hill, and he's a Swiss Army knife. Now, when we look at their cap situation, they are negative $28.7 million over the cap. Which, if we can be honest here, Mickey Loomis always finds a way to be cap compliant. Usually he just nickels and dimes every single contract like he does every single year. I don't know how he does it. I wish I can talk to his financial guy, because wow, that is just magical work that he is doing every single year, okay? But I'm going to end this episode here. If you guys like what you are listening, please make sure you guys leave a 5-star review on anywhere and everywhere that you can listen to podcasts, okay? We are available on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and a few other places. Now, if you want to access those few other places, go on Google, type in rss.com Football Junkies Podcast. It should be the first link. When you click on that link, it'll take you to our page where you can listen to this podcast online, all right? Now, there's going to be a button that says listen to. When you click on that, it'll give you a plethora of different options that you can listen to this podcast on, all right? Now, you can follow us on YouTube at Football Junkies Pod, all right? Football Junkies Pod. Make sure you guys like, share, subscribe, turn the notification bell on, leave a comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on this episode. Am I right? Am I wrong? Let's talk about it, okay? And while you're on our YouTube page, we also have a link tree that's in the bio. When you click on that link tree, it'll take you to anywhere and everywhere that we have Football Junkies content. You can also access the link tree via the description of any episode that we post. Now, for my TikTok people, Football Junkies Pod, all right? Football Junkies Pod, I got some clips. I'm going to post them. You already know how things go, all right? Now, for my Instagram people, Football_Junkies Pod, all right? Football_Junkies Pod. Junkies Pod is not what? It is together, not spaced, okay? It is together, not spaced. Football_Junkies Pod, all right? You can follow me on Blue Sky at GMKale, GMKale, Kaile, as well as on Twitter at GMKale, Kaile, all right? As always, I hope I gave you guys a fix that you guys need. I love you guys. I appreciate you guys so much. Stay tuned. There's more episodes on the way. Just got to give you some time. And this is your GM Kale signing out. Peace and love. Later, guys.